video. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am doing a giveaway on my Instagram right now for the next week, and I am giving away a whole gallon of magic resin. I'm also giving away this mold which creates coasters that I make, which look like this with the jagged edges. And I'm also giving away this double glitter set as well as 10 pigment powders. So this is what I'm giving away right now on my Instagram for the next week. So if you're seeing this video, check out my Instagram. The link is in the description below and enter the giveaway. Good luck, guys. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Deb here. Today I'm going to be talking about how to care for your resin coasters. So this video will be helpful for anybody who may have purchased resin coasters recently and also people who make and sell resin coasters. So in case you're wondering how to take care of the coasters, how to prevent damage, etc., this video is for you. So I used to have a really long list of care instructions that I included with every pack of coasters that I sold, but I found it was a little bit overkill. People weren't reading them, and I didn't feel like I needed to include all of the information. So today I'm going to be going over everything that I used to include, because you can choose what you want to include if you're selling coasters yourself, and then I'll show you the smaller condensed version that I use now. So of course the most important part of the coaster care instructions is how to wash your coasters. So the number one thing that I recommend trying before anything else is to wipe the surface down with a microfiber cloth. If you can avoid using water and soap and any scrubbing motions with anything abrasive, that's ideal. So with each set of my coasters, I include a microfiber cloth. Now, these come in all different colors. I believe it's a pack of 18 that I get from Amazon, and I'll link that in the description below. And I include one of these with every set of coasters. And that's what I recommend using to clean them. So this coaster is one that I own. I'm not sure if you can see how dirty the surface is. It's a little hard to see. But basically, this is my coaster that I own, so use a little breath on there. And I really hope you can see this video because it is nice and smooth now. No more dust, no more, there were greasy stains on there, I don't know what from, but now it's nice and smooth. So that's the first thing I recommend. These are the best. This is what I clean every set of coasters with, not with my breath. But this is what I clean every set of my coasters with before I package them and sell them to get rid of all the fingerprints on top for me painting them. So that works really well. But if you need to wash them, so say you get juice on there and it's stuck on and you really need to wash it, I recommend using a mild soap and warm water and a non-abrasive cloth, such as this. This is microfiber, something soft. A J cloth is probably fine as well, but just no abrasive material like sponge, for example. So mild soap, warm water, and a soft material, not sponge. I used to say that if necessary you could use Windex to get rid of anything that won't come off, but I really wouldn't recommend putting those chemicals on the coaster and scrubbing at it too much. So I don't include that anymore. I have used Windex before and it didn't affect the resin, so just something good for you to know for the future, but I don't include it on my instructions anymore. So that is step one, how to clean your coaster. And the other thing is that you should never put your coasters in the dishwasher. I haven't personally tried to put them in the dishwasher yet, but they do get easily scratched and they don't really work too well with high heat. So since a dishwasher is high heat for such a long period of time, they could warp the coasters. So I just recommend don't put them in the dishwasher. So yeah, that's the first step of caring for your coasters, how to wash them. So the next thing I recommend in my coaster care instructions is to wipe away any residue on the surface of the coasters before you stack them. So that includes cut marks, condensation, anything. I recommend using your microfiber cloth and wiping those away before you restack yours. And the reason for that is that I've personally found when I've used mine, if you leave cut marks on the coasters for a long period of time, or if you stack them with condensation in between, it will dry to the coaster and it will become really difficult to remove. So if every time after use you give them a wipe down, you'll never have that issue. But if you leave it with cut marks for weeks and weeks, then you're never going to be able to remove those cut marks. So before stacking. After every use, give them a little wipe down. So the next part of the coaster care instructions actually pertain more to these trays than they do to the coasters, because the coasters are pretty small. But a lot of people buy these because they want to put food on them. Now, as far as I know, art resin is the only resin that has FDA approval for you to place food on top of it. And that's what I use. I use art resin for its non-yellowing properties, and also for that reason, because it is FDA approved to place food on. So I include that in my care instructions. I let people know that they are able to place food on top, that they shouldn't keep it on for too long of a period of time, and that they should only use the glassy part of the surface, not the bottom. If, for example, like this one, I've painted the bottom, or if I've sprayed the bottom with a varnish, I make sure they know not to place food on the bottom. So again, only really pertains to the trays. I don't think anybody would ever really be putting food on something this small. So the next thing I make my customers aware of is the fact that high heat can impact resin and cause it to become more malleable. So that means if you're using your coasters with a really warm beverage, or if your coasters are sitting out in the heat, or if you've just washed them with really warm water, they will become more malleable. Now this also applies to if you're putting a hot drink on top of your coaster. That hot mug can sometimes leave a ring. Now I have a hot mug on this coaster over here, so I can show you what that looks like. And I have a trick for getting rid of those, so I'll come right back and I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll show you the trick. Okay, so I did want to show you what it looks like when the coaster has been exposed to high heat. So I had this under the tap, and you can see that the coaster is a lot more malleable now. It bends, so you can see there. But if you place it on the counter, it will harden up again and go right back to normal, and you won't have any issues. So I do include that, or I did include that in my instructions, and I explained that it can become more malleable. That's fine. It doesn't mean that it's broken. It will go back to normal if you just lay it on the counter or on a flat surface and let it cool down again. But again, I would recommend, if it's wet like this, to wipe down the surface so you don't stain it. Now over here, I have my hot mug coaster, and I'm not sure if you can see the mug lines. You can kind of see one there. It's really difficult to see in this lighting. Okay, well you can't see too well. Sorry about that, but it does have indents. So what you can do to fix that, and this is something that I also include in my instructions, is you can run it under hot water for 20 seconds and those marks will go away. So run the surface under hot water. And it can be super hot water. It's not going to damage the coaster. In fact, if the marks are really obvious and really deep indents, then hotter water will help more. And then wipe off the surface. And you could see them before, but now it is perfectly smooth. No more cut marks at all. Nothing, just smooth surface. So that is a cool trick that I learned. I do have another YouTube video that explains that, but it's my one about hot water versus resin coasters. I did an experiment, and that's where I learned that trick. So yeah. So that's just something I let my customers know to be aware of, so that I don't get a bunch of people contacting me saying, oh my gosh, my coasters are broken, I ruined them, I put them in hot water and they're all bendy now. That way they know. In addition to that, I used to include on my instructions that in high heat circumstances, so for example, if these are sitting in the sun, or if your house is really hot or anything like that, that the coasters can stick together a little bit. And that this shouldn't cause any damage. However, I now sand down the bottom of my coaster, so you can see the bottom isn't shiny, but the top is. So when I stack them, I don't ever experience that sticking issue anymore. So I took that off of my instructions, but if you have coasters that are shiny on both sides, then you might experience that sticking, and it might be something that you want to include on your care instructions for your customers. And lastly, one thing that I used to mention on my instructions was that coasters should not break or shatter when dropped. I'm sure you know, but resin is a shatterproof material. It's a plastic, so it really shouldn't shatter. I decided though that was a little overkill because it wasn't really something people needed to know to take care of them. It's something that I include on my sales page to try to encourage sales. Maybe somebody who has children wants something that won't break if it falls on the floor. So I include it there, but I didn't think I needed it on my care instructions. Okay, and that's it. So that was all the information that was on this big long sheet of paper here that I do not include anymore. Number one, I just didn't think that it looked as professional as it could look because I just printed it out on my computer. And it was also such a big sheet of paper that I thought maybe I could save some trees. So this is all I use now. It's cute. It says Coaster Care. And it's sort of like a business card because it has my email and my Instagram and stuff down there. And then on the back, this is the information about caring for your coasters. Now, this might be backwards to read. So basically, what I include is washing with warm water and a microfiber cloth, using mild soap, no abrasive material, don't rub the metallic edging. If a warm mug leaves indents in the coasters, to run it under hot water for 20 seconds and dry immediately, because I feel like that's a big thing that people worry about. If they have indents in their coasters, they're going to be upset, right? And then the fact that they will become more malleable when exposed to high heat. So I thought those were the main things that were important. A lot of my other instructions and care tips and such are in the frequently asked questions section of my Instagram and my website. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, just let me know and I'll try to take a picture of the back of my coaster care instructions, the little one, and put it at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. If you have any requests for any other videos, any questions, anything at all, please drop it below in the comments. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I post new videos every week. Bye!